Yo, people, lateness is greatness. Welcome back into the building. You already know what time it is. It's time for the preview show. And listen, we've got some great esteemed guests with us today. You've got Sam O from Football Daily, as per usual. And you've got Monster killing it on YouTube, as per usual, my guy. Great to have you back on the channel. How you doing, bro? Monster, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good, man. Obviously Chelsea doing well. I think the last time I was on there as well, we were doing all right. So I can't even say much, but I'm happy in it.
100%, man. We're in great form. And Sam, bro, you buzzing for this game? How you looking forward to it?
You know what? I feel like I'm good either way. Win or lose, I think Tuchel said something about if we win, it will be great for our energy. If we lose, we'll learn from it, innit? So just go into the game, and yeah, man, I'm excited though. If we beat them, no one chat to me, innit? No one actually chat to me.
Sam's gonna be on smoke. The S is gonna stand for smoke in Sam's name. Do you know what I'm saying? Obviously, big up to the chat as well. Charlie thought it was gonna be 10 minutes late. You see, as soon as I saw your comment, I said, let me start this thing just so he's wrong. Big up Rico, Ellis, all the man in the chat. Big up yourselves. Big blockbuster game we got coming up here. We're not favorites. We're underdogs going into it. Obviously, we're gonna get into the team news in the press conference as well and pick our teams later on. But listen, we're going in as underdogs. I'm just looking forward to playing up against the best team in the country and seeing where we go toe-to-toe with them, where we stand in terms of our football identity, our principles, whether they stay intact, and just how good we are as a team. Obviously, it'll be great prep for that Real Madrid game in a couple of weeks. But to start off with, basic question as per usual, man. Monster, are you confident, bro? Are you confident? How are you feeling going into the game?
Listen, I'm not gonna do the whole overconfidence thing, like we're gonna whoop them or blah 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 blah. One thing I would say is we have a chance of beating them. We have a very, very good defense, a very good setup, a very good manager. We've got players like Pulisic coming into form towards the end of the season. Ziyech doing all right. Havertz doing all right. Mason Mount doing well. Obviously, the loss of Kovacic is big. But we still got Kante and we got Jorginho. So, I put my confidence in them to do something, innit? Man City can be beat. Trust me, they can be beat. They're not as good as people make them out to be. I think one thing about Man City is as simple as teams don't go after them. Teams normally sit back and just take the nonsense, innit? Yeah. So hopefully Chelsea go and play some football, man. Simple as that, and we can take them.
Yeah, man. Sam, bro, we've seen chinks in their armor in the last 5 games, 2 defeats in the Premier League, Leeds, 2-1 win with 10 men, last minute goal from Dallas at the Etihad. That's the kind of game where you wish crowds were there. Do you know what I mean? That Leeds away section would have ripped off the terraces. Do you know what I'm saying? And then obviously Man United beat them as well. Does those 2 results give you any more confidence going into this game? Because like Monster said, they're not impenetrable. They can be beaten. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it just depends on how we go into the game, man. If we've got the right energy, the right mindset, I think we could. I'm not even like, obviously we're the underdogs because they're the best team probably in the world right now, yeah. But at the same time, the way we're playing and the players that we have, I don't see why not. Like I don't see why we can't get the victory, why we can't get certain players causing them trouble. Like realistically, even their game against Dortmund, it could have gone either way if Emre Can didn't make that mistake. Do you get what I'm saying? And I feel like because it's a semi-final, if the first goal is probably the most important goal, because that will give a team confidence or make a team either sit back or move more reserved. But even when Lampard was here, we started that game very well. Do you get what I'm saying? But they saw that one chink in our armor, and then as soon as they saw that one chance that De Bruyne had, after that they just exposed us. Do you get what I'm saying? But we started that game very well. So if we can come with that energy, we've got our tactics are much better. We kind of know our identity a bit more. I think it could be good, man. I'm not as shook as I was the first time round.
Yeah, no, neither am I, to be honest. Like, I know we're underdogs, so I'm not like expecting us to win, but I'm very hopeful, and I think I can see ways we can get a win out of this game. They're not unstoppable. I think when you look at Man City, right, they're, like Monster said, they're a team that everybody's just sitting back against them. And I look at the way that we went to Anfield and we hit Liverpool on the break, and then we're playing a high line. Potentially Man City could do a similar thing. That could be a game where your guy, Timo Werner, do you know what I'm saying? Listen, this could be his day. Do you know what I mean? A big pitch, massive pitch in Wembley. I remember when we played them. Do you guys remember that Carabao Cup final? Woo! Woo!
Yeah. That was
Ruben
a
Loftus-Cheek.
good game, man. That Loftus-Cheek was riffing that game, and that's what I'm saying. Like when it comes down to it, when we are the underdogs, I feel like that's the best situation for us, man, because we have nothing to lose, and Werner has literally nothing to lose but everything to prove at the same time. If he gets a goal in this game, mate.
You're gonna lose it.
I'll actually move mad. You know what I mean? I need a runner goal, but I'm at the same time. I just feel like the attackers that we have as well. There's so many players that can cause problems. We've got playoff Pulisic. He's starting to, you know what I mean? He's coming to the end of the season, and he knows that this is make or break. Every game is important, and now he's showing us the form that he basically showed us at the end of the last season. So Havertz as well. He's coming into it. So nah, man, I'm excited, man.
Man. Like, listen, next preview, yeah. If Werner scores, you got to change that name to Sam on Smoke at the bottom. Yeah. Trust me.
People are actually telling me that I should give up on him, but I'm not going to give up.
It's too early for that.
I'm not going to give up.
I've got my criticisms and my critiques, but he needs a second season minimum. That's just get that preseason, get that training in, technical training. I think for first touch and things like that, and let's see where we can go with it. Someone said the mods are missing. Listen, the mods have abandoned me in my time of need, really, before a big game like this. What's going on, bros? Hopefully you man turn up in the chat. But someone's asking Monstar if that's from the mega store. You see that sale, 70%, yeah? I was this close to flying back and taking the hotel hit, fam. Monstar, did you get that, bro, from the mega store?
Yeah, I was there, innit? As soon as I heard 20% off, I think it was a couple of days ago, I flew because I'm not too far away.
Yeah.
I flew straight to Stamford Bridge. And when I went there, everything, like literally, like I think the most expensive thing there was 35 quid. Everything was like a tenner, 15 pounds, 20 quid. It was mad. I spent a lot. Not a lot, but I got a lot for a little amount of money, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Was it like Boxing Day in Stratford with Westville where it's just mad?
Yeah. I think they're preparing for what do you call it? The new kits and that, innit? So I think that's what's happening. Yeah. Crazy.
Mad. Listen,
I missed that, man. Someone should have shouted me. I would have gone down, man.
I'm telling you, notifications on for CFC Daily on Twitter. That's what you got to do, fam. Because he will just give all the announce anything to do with this club. He will tell you about it. Do you know what I'm saying? And then you can just know. But yeah, man, it's a shame I missed out on that because I got a kit collection to add to, and I usually don't get the training gear because I thought to myself, well, it's mad expensive, and do you know what I mean? Like, I'm obviously going to pick the home shirt, away shirt first because that's what's going to get worn. But I would have stocked up on training kits if that was the case, man. But yeah, man, let's see what else is saying in the chat, because like I was saying, I was referring back to that Carabao Cup game. Monstar, I'm sure you'll remember, obviously Loftus-Cheek doing that flick over the head. We got to penalties, Kepa with the wink. You know what I mean? Like, it was a close game last time. I think that was the last time we played these guys in a cup that I can remember. Maybe the 5-0 as well.
I think Kepa did well in that shootout. Obviously, I think it was because he saved someone's penalty.
There was a lot of pressure. Yeah, he saved the penalty, but there was so much pressure after what he did. It was gonna. If he had saved all of those penalties after that situation, he would have been a hero. It would have changed everything. But the fact that we lost and Sarri was just moving like he didn't even want to come out, I think that played a part in the rest of his career so far. But
the reason why I bring it up, right, is because people, for starting from the back, people have always like kind of questioned Mendy's ability to save penalties. And I think to myself, if we got to that stage, would Kepa come into it? But I think, do you only get 3 substitutions in this game? It's still 3, isn't it?
Yeah, 3 subs.
Yeah. So the likelihood of having that to spend on a goalkeeper is rare. But
people have short-term memory, because if people remember in the beginning, Petr Cech also was terrible at saving penalties. I remember very well. I remember the semi-final in the Champions League against Liverpool. On penalties, obviously Cech was probably the best goalkeeper in the world at the time. I remember this was when this was 2007. We all thought, okay, it was 1-0 at Stamford Bridge. Daniel Agger made it 1-0 at Anfield. Obviously 1-0, 1-0 on aggregate. We've gone to extra time, no goals. We've gone on penalties. I remember all the commentators saying like, oh yeah, Cech is the best goalkeeper in the world. Penalties should be a walk in the park for him, blah, 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 blah. And he was absolutely shocking in that shootout. But you know what I mean? Penalties is just the luck of the draw. Like,
the luck of the draw, innit?
It's luck, innit? So I don't blame anyone. any goalkeepers for not being able to save penalties, unfortunately, innit? So
yeah, you're the massive underdog in that situation, and we know how Czech improved that Champions League final.
yeah,
He done his homework with that goalkeeping coach. So I'm saying went right nearly every time, I think. And they I don't know where, but there is they did go into detail about how much they studied for that penalty shootout and everything behind that. But yeah, I mean, listen, looking ahead to Man City, the thing is with them is they're one of those teams, they will leave you in the game. Do you know what I mean? Because they don't have that out and out striker that is so potent. But what comes with that is Gabriel Jesus is pressing from the front, and their whole attack are quite oppressing. You know, they do press quite high up the pitch. And I wonder to myself, I want to get what you guys think on this. I wonder to myself, will we keep the same principles of playing out from the back with Man City and Gabriel Jesus potentially pressing us in that half at Wembley as well? Big pitch, so more room to play on. But no Christensen, Kovacic as well. He's out. He's very press resistant. We know that. So we're looking at a Jorginho Kante pivot because obviously 90 minutes was confirmed he could play that in the press conference. Silva will probably play. So Sam, what do you make of that build-up play from the back against Man City? Do you want to see it? Or is it like, listen, I've seen a few nervy moments. I'm good.
I think it's just in-game management, man. I think we have to decide when and where we play like that, because that's the way we play. Do you get what I'm saying? I wouldn't want us to like switch up our game plan just because we're playing against Man City. Obviously, we know how good they are. But at the same time, if we just get Mendy to go long all the time, we're going to be the ones chasing for good. City can have you chasing for the whole half. Like I saw a stat against, I think at Dortmund, they had the ball for like 5 minutes, bro. And that doesn't seem like a long time, but imagine being a player on the opposition and you're just chasing that ball. Like in a big game, you're going to be running, you're going to get tired. And like you said, we've got players that are just coming back from injury. We've got Kante just coming back from injury. You don't want him to get overrun. Obviously, we know he can do it, but at the same time, Kovacic's not on the bench. Silva as well. Don't want him to just do. I don't want him to do too much. You know what I mean? I want him to have that peace of mind of, even if the ball can't, even if I have to run around, and even if Aspie and Rudiger have to run around, it's not going to be too long, because the way we press, we're trying to win the ball back. I don't want us to change our game plan too much, and hopefully, I don't see Tuchel as the man to kind of switch it up that much. Maybe if he sees a mistake, or I know Mendy made a mistake against Porto when he almost cost us a goal, but at the same time, I think that was just an anomaly. He doesn't do that as often. And even with the City press, I don't know. It's not something that I dread. Like we've had teams press us. You know what I mean? We just got to stick to our guns, man.
The mods really are at the Megastore, fam, because there's none of them in this chat. You know, I've got so many mods, but today they've just gone AWOL, fam. It's absolutely incredible. But listen, it's interesting to me because we have been based on principle since he came in. You know, we've stuck with the same formation, the same system, bar the Barnsley game and a couple instances where we changed to a 4 at the back, very sporadically there. And then obviously playing out from the back, regardless of who's been in the team. Even if Zuma's been in the center of the defense in a 3, they've still persisted to play out from the back and just said, listen, this is the philosophy, you got to stick to it. Monstar, when it comes to this game, right, I look at this team and I think to myself, this is a huge opportunity. Like, yes, we're underdogs against Man City, but this team, I've never seen a Chelsea team in such dire of a need of a trophy, because there's so many young players coming through. Even the Kai Havertz and the Timo Werners, they're not used to silverware like that for their respective previous clubs. Mason Mount, we know the academy boys, it would be their first trophy as well. There's the players that we're hanging our hopes on to either propel this club to new heights or our key players this season. They haven't won anything yet for us. So how important is that for the mentality going forward? Because I always bring up the Joe Cole quote of the Carling Cup under Mourinho. That he said that was like a Champions League final for him. This is why, for me, the FA Cup is just huge for us.
Yeah, I mean, this obviously this FA Cup, winning this game against City and obviously hopefully going on to win the FA Cup overall is a big, like, it gives them a taste of that success that they've not yet experienced. If you guys remember when Jose first came in, the first thing we won was the Carabao Cup. I don't think there was, or at that time, I think it was the Worthington Cup or whatever it was.
I think it was Carling Cup back. I think.
Or Carling Cup, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
What do you call it? it gives them that taste of success, and it gives them that, I don't know, just gives them that it factor when it comes to playing in important games and in finals and things like that. Do you get what I mean? I think it's very, very important these guys step up in this game. Now, we missed out last season. We all know what happened, the red card to Kovacic, and obviously the Pulisic injury as well. But this is a chance. I think Chelsea, Man City, they're good, but they can be gotten at. Do you know what I mean? They're beatable. They're not unbeatable. This is not the Centurions or the ones that swept England, so they won all the trophies in England. This is not the same team. This one's not as good. And as you stated earlier on, their attack is lacking a bit, innit? Do you get what I mean? We have 3 at the back which could handle it, and I think Silva will be good as well to play in this game. Obviously, I know we're missing Kovacic, but every time we beat City, who's been the man that's been very important? It's Kante in the middle. Do you get what I mean? So I don't think necessarily we're missing too much. It's just down to our boys to just try and finish off those chances. I think Pulisic will be very, very important, as he was against City last season when he tore them apart, innit? So we'll just have to wait and see, man.
Yeah. So someone's, I think on Twitter was saying that Kovacic is out for 3 weeks, I think.
3 weeks,
yeah, which is a big blow for this team, because we haven't given many minutes to Billy Gilmour under Tuchel, and he's now 3rd in line for the throne, if you want to call it, for the double pivot. He could move Mason Mount back there, which I actually think he will, before playing Billy Gilmour, because I think if you was to have Billy Gilmour as your next guy, I would have assumed you would have given him more minutes up until this point if he was such a important figure. But I feel like he will move Mason Mount back into that pivot if there's another issue with these two injury wise or fitness wise and they need a rest. I've spoken to Monstar about this before, about Billy Gilmour, and Sam, I want to get your take as well. But how important do you think Billy Gilmour can be in this next 3 weeks? Because he's one of those players that he has showed a huge amount of potential in games that he's played, but he hasn't played a lot of games, so there's not a massive sample size to judge him on in terms of high pressure situations of Everton at home in the league, cool. Liverpool a little bit weakened in the cup, cool, but we haven't seen him under the lights in the Champions League, Real Madrid. Do you know what I mean? If that is what could happen, if he does get thrown into a game like that, how confident are you about his ability? Because everybody knows technically he's very assured, but it's that next level, isn't it?
Yeah, no, but I love that though. I love the fact that it those type of situations, because I think players, that's what makes players. Like, if he had to come in, if Kante, God forbid, and I'm saying that twice, God forbid, if Kante got injured and Billy had to step up and play that, I think he'll do just fine. I think he's got the quality. He's proven in the big games that you can trust him. He doesn't ever try and do too much. And sometimes certain young players, when they're put in to the limelight, they try and prove why they should be playing or do something that they're not used to doing. Billy's not that guy. He just wants to dictate the tempo. He wants to keep the game flowing. He wants to get stuck in like proper Scott.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, did it freeze?
Can I just say, yeah? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. I thought it froze.
I like Gilmour, and I think he's a very good player. I just feel like we've, in a way, we saw it out, because there was a lot of people last season saying, okay, we've seen him against Liverpool, we've seen him against Everton, which he had great games in. He's ready. And I remember saying, you've seen him in 2 games. Do you think that's a big enough sample size to judge him on, to say, okay, we can rely on him for a season? And in the big games, we're talking about big games, innit? I didn't think it was enough. He hasn't played enough games. Like these, you like you said, it was a weakened Liverpool side, and it was an Everton side that was still in transition, innit? Now we're coming up against beasts. We're coming up in a season where it starts to matter more than anything, innit? You're coming up against City. Do you really trust Gilmour? Do you have enough to say Gilmour's good enough to play against this City side? I don't think we do yet.
But don't you think? But that's what I hear what you're saying to a certain extent, because if he's got the ability to be on the bench and to play those games, like, you have to have a certain amount of trust in him to do that. Do you get what I'm saying? I just think that if he had maybe gone out on loan, we would have really seen what he's capable of, because he is that player that can dictate play. He does get stuck in, even though he's that small. He will face up against anyone that he goes up against. I've not seen him, even when I used to watch highlights of him, like in the younger teams. I never saw him like do something that made me question him in high pressure situations. And I think if Tuchel's saying, okay, you're fourth choice, and he does want to stick around, that means he's willing to learn. He's willing to take all the instruction that he's being given, and he's willing to understand the game from people that are more experienced, like Jorginho, Kovacic, and Kante. And if he builds all of that knowledge that he gets from them and comes into a game, I'll have to trust him, because everything I've seen from him has been quality.
Yeah, do you know what it is with Gilmour, right? Is he's one of those players that I do have faith in, a lot of faith in terms of his potential, right? And you've seen the way Phil Foden's been looked after by Pep at Man City. I said this, I think I said this on All You Can Eat Chelsea yesterday, but the brother's been looked after at home. Do you know what I'm saying? Central heating, fed, clothed, roof over his head, never sent out in the cold once. And people in England kind of look down on that. And they say, well, you should get sent down to League One and Championship and toughen up. And you know what I mean? Didn't do that. Kept him in the four walls of Manchester City training ground, nice and warm, looked after him, and it's worked. And I think to myself, sometimes I look at Gilmour and I think I do get a similar vibe, that I feel like staying at the club and just being coached will do better for him than going out on loan. Because you look at where you have to loan him, and even you can use Ethan Ampadu as an example. You have to loan them to you need to get that right, man. Like there's certain players, I mean, with any loan, you need to get it spot on. But certain players, it's very, very key that you send them to a team that play a certain type of way. They have possession, they're coached the right way, they have the right fundamentals around them. They don't pick up any bad habits and things like that. And I look at Gilmour and I think to myself, the detail in the loan, in the club that we send him to, and the manager and the principals, the amount of detail and thorough, insight we're going to need before we make that decision is going to be huge for me, because that's not just a player you can just send anywhere, or it shouldn't be just a player that you send anywhere. And I think to myself as well, a lot of people look at the midfield makeup and let's just say double pivot 4 players, because I've seen Chelsea linked with Jude Bellingham today. I don't know how concrete that is, but I've seen it. I've seen Camavinga potentially. I think next year, end of contract, people are looking at him.
Very good player.
Yeah, very good, a very good player. But again, it's like Gilmour. Like, what do you do with him? Can you have too many young players in this position as well? 17 years old, Camavinga's a teenager, Billy Gilmour the same. Do we have something at home that we need to protect and look after and use, or do we need to go abroad and bring in someone who, yes, like you're saying, Monster, those players that just went abroad, Bellingham, would we have trusted him when he came in from Birmingham? Probably not. Now he's gone to Dortmund and got his chance. He's flourishing. Do you know what I mean? Camavinga's playing in the French league. How does that translate to the Premier League? We don't know yet. So, I mean, just in terms of Billy Gilmour's future, Monster, how do you see it? Because a lot of people kind of put him up against Jorginho as well, which I don't like too much, because I feel like Jorginho is very underrated in this fan base in terms of just the experience factor as well. Do you know what I'm saying?
Can I just say one thing? Can I just say one thing on the Jorginho thing? I've been on both sides of the fence with Jorginho. I've had periods when I've been like, oh, come on, man, like get Billy on. But that's just because when Jorginho has a bad game, it is very telling and it impacts our team a lot. But I've started to realize that the fact that happens is because he's so influential and so important. So I hear what you're saying, but I think it would take some fans to understand. So it may be 1 game or 2 games against certain big teams for them to realize that without Jorginho, we don't tick as well as we should.
Yeah.
All right. So with the whole Gilmour, Camavinga, and all these guys, one thing people need to realize is that Chelsea's midfield is kind of aging, and I don't think they see Jorginho as a long-term future either. So you've got Kante aging, you've got Jorginho, probably not going to be a long-term solution for our midfield. Now, we got Gilmour, we got Ampadu. A guy like Camavinga, I think if he's available, I think you should still get him anyway. You don't have to play now. How old is he? 18 years old? You can loan him anywhere the hell you want. Do you get what I mean? I think he's a very good player. But as for Gilmour, it's a thing where I do think he has a Chelsea future. I just feel like one thing is we've seen the good of him. Like we've seen how great he is. Another reason why he's barely played a season. If you guys remember, he was injured. He got a bad injury last season, didn't it? Yeah. So hence why he didn't get to play as much this season. Number 3, we've seen, like I said, we've seen the good of him. what happens when we see the bad? Is he gonna get the abuse that Mason Mount got? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Mason Mount got a lot of abuse, which wasn't even warranted. Do you get what I mean? What happens if it's Billy Gilmour? And one thing people don't realize is when it comes to young footballers, you should expect dips in form where there's going to be a lot of games where they're going to go completely missing. This is why I've never really been a fan of depending on young players, because when young players, they're going to have patches, good form here. Then people are going to start focusing on them, and then they're going to have bad form. And then when they have that bad form, everyone's going to be like, blah, blah, blah. But people forget how old they are and how young they are, innit? So with Gilmour, I think we should just take our time a bit on him. I've seen him bullied. I remember, I think it was Sheffield United last season. He got, and I think against Watford, I can't exactly remember what games. I watched him get bullied. And it's just like, sometimes like these are things that he needs to get used to, and I don't think he's used to yet. Do you get what I mean? That's why I think, throwing him in as much as people want him to be thrown in might not be the best idea just yet. Do you know what I mean? Let's take our time on him. He's got plenty of time. He's very young. How old is he? 18 years old, is he? Was he 19? Yeah. He's got years ahead of him. So we should just take our time. Let's quell the hype a bit. He might not be ready. Hence why Lampard and Tuchel weren't even using him as much as we want them to use him, because maybe they see something we don't. He probably just not ready. We should calm down. Simple as that.
Would you loan him next season then, with that in mind? Because in my head, right, I think the perfect scenario would be Jorginho's agent stops talking, and we keep Jorginho, Kova, and Kante, and add a traditional DM to that, and you actually keep Jorginho until Billy Gilmour's ready to take his place, because that's the player that I see replacing Jorginho. Do you see what I'm saying? Whereas, I'm not a big fan of selling two or taking two players out of that team, and then bringing in two more, because then I think you're disrupting too much there. And I feel like Gilmour, like I said, he could get the Foden treatment and stay at home and learn, or we could get the right loan for him. I feel like it's more realistically that he gets the loan. But what do you think, bro?
It depends on what Tuchel wants. So if Tuchel feels he can do what Guardiola's doing, where he can bring him in slowly and things like that, then I agree with that. If he wants to loan him out and get him some Premier League experience, the way like the likes of Conor Gallagher and Ampadu are doing, then I don't mind with that either. So whichever one the coach is comfortable with, I will accept. Do you know what I mean? It's as simple as that.
All right. Well, we'll move on to obviously team news. Like we said, Kova's out for 3 weeks. Christensen's also out as well, which is a big blow. He's been brilliant for us, obviously under Tuchel as well. But with Thiago Silva coming in there, I feel like we'll be okay. The one question I have is that obviously I'm thinking to myself in terms of the forwards, and obviously we'll go through our lineups later. But we've mentioned Timo Werner. Ziyech is another player that kind of sporadically getting minutes up and down. How do you want to see us kind of approach this game? Do you want to see us take the game to them, or defensively be a bit more assured and take them on the break on the counter? Because the thing is with City is, like you said, Monster, and it's interesting to discuss this, is that no one ever takes the game to them. They always sit back, hit them on the break. And Leeds did hit them on the break in that second half. Obviously, they had 10 men with Dallas hitting them on the break. But do we take them on? Do we sit on the counter? We've got players that are suited to do both. So it is quite a conflicting thing, because you can have possession with a Jorginho in the middle and create your triangles and build up from the back, or you can sit back and hit them on the break with a Timo Werner. And, we already know Pulisic's played, 2 games in a row now. As great a form as he's in, this is probably a good time to take him out and make sure that he's looked after, maybe for Brighton. I don't know. What would you guys do with that? Start with Sam, I guess.
You know what? I literally, as you were saying, should we go defensive? Yeah, I just had a mad flashback of that. I think Conte's last game against City. Oh my goodness, that's probably the maddest. That was probably the maddest game I've ever watched.
1-0, right? 1-0.
Yeah, and we were just sitting. Like we actually. I remember they were the commentary after was like, why are they not moving? Fabregas was walking and things like that, and then I was just like, we should never ever be that team. Like, we're actually Chelsea. Do you get what I'm saying? I feel like we have to go at every team we face. I think we have to be smart when we go at them, maybe start the game with a type of intensity, and then maybe simmer down, soak it in a little bit. I don't think we can go gun ho for the whole 90 minutes because we are playing against City, and they will carve you. If you make a mistake in trying to attack them or trying to maintain pressure for that long, they will find that moment and they will carve you open, and then they'll score. And then if it's that bad of an opening, they might just do the same thing like they did the last time we played them. So I think we just got to be smart, man. I think it's all about being smart with when we pressure them and when we do pick our times to attack, because I think the way we play now is quite balanced. I don't ever feel nervous for our defenders, and we do create chances. We always create chances. It's just us not taking it. So I think we've got quite a balanced approach. We've approached most games quite balanced. So if we do the same, then I think we'll be fine, man.
Yeah. When it comes to, I think we'll be in this game. Like, it will be tight because our defense, like you said, our defense has been impenetrable. Even though we conceded in midweek against Porto, that was just a freak goal. We was quite defensively assured.
Can't stop those.
Yeah, you can't stop those. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people were looking at maybe Reece James should have closed him down and whatnot. Obviously, Mendy was furious because he didn't want to concede his clean sheet. He's obviously chasing the Golden Glove in that competition, but you can't stop those goals. Sometimes you just need to stand up and applaud the brilliance. You know what I'm saying? But so you look at Gabriel Jesus, he's not the most potent individual. Sterling in and out the team at the moment, not really too potent either. There is a thing where Chelsea can defend well and stay in this game and then hit them on the break and pick them off. We have to be clinical ourselves. Monster, I'm going to give you, I guess, 5 players that have to be in this team, would you say? Obviously, we'll pick our teams later, but who do you think will be the 5 fundamental players that will be the key to success here for us?
I think it will be the 3 centre-backs, Kante in midfield, because he's going to need to be on job. And I think Werner. I think because Werner is very important due to his pace on the break.
Yeah.
And because Man City will give you that chance to catch them on a break. They will give you that. I think that's where Chelsea have to be very smart. And I think Werner could be very important. I would say Pulisic as well. But that's obviously, I think that's 6 names, I think. So, yeah. But yeah.
Pulisic, I've been meaning to come on to this one, is that he's one of them players, right? Is that it's so frustrating because you just want to keep playing him now. He's in great form. Obviously took 11 hits against Porto, so that's even more reason not to play him. Brother should have been in the ice bath literally minutes after full-time whistle blew. That's how deep it was for him.
He plays for it though. I feel like there's certain players. There's sometimes, even for me, when I'm watching him, I appreciate the way he can dribble, but sometimes I'm just like, if you just take a touch and you release it to where you are going, like where you are dribbling to, because there's always a player overlapping, you won't get hurt. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that's just one thing. Like, if I was to give him like maybe some constructive criticism, he's been playing well. Like, don't get twisted, but it's just that one pass. If you take that touch inside, play it, and then make a run into the box, then fine. But I see him taking like 3 or 4 touches, and then he'll beat a man, and then they'll clamp him, and he's rolling, and I'm just like, bro, like, this didn't have to happen.
The referees really do need to protect him. The referee in that game did not even in the slightest try and protect him. But what's so frustrating?
That's not even the first game, though. Remember, which one was it? The Sheffield United FA Cup, where they were literally bulldozing him as well.
Yeah,
I felt like I was watching a Hazard game all over again, innit?
It felt like that. Do you know what I mean? And the frustrating thing for me is that even when I know he's in this type of form, we can't just play him every game. We do have to take him out because of those injury concerns. And this is kind of the game that's set up for him. Like someone just said here with the super chat, playoff Greenwood and Pulisic are the real deal. It does feel that way, that when it comes to crunch time, Pulisic stands up and he's counted for. Like I saw some quotes and he looks forward to the occasions. He looks forward to this part of the season, the big occasions where the big games are decided. I remember him in the final last year against Arsenal. He scored. He was looking like having a great game, and I think he had to come off. So I want him to play this game so badly because this is exactly the type of game that suits him. Wembley, big game. You know, he kind of takes it as a pleasure to take that responsibility on his shoulders. That yes, the team need me in a big moment like this. Not like Didier Drogba-esque, but for this team, do you know what I mean? It probably is the guy, the
Might
main
as well.
guy.
Yeah.
Him and Mason Mount, you know what I mean? They would be the two guys that I would say, okay, you're taking responsibility, whether it be at Anfield away, both of them doing it. You know, Mason Mount this year at Anfield, last year it was Pulisic in the defeat, but he was unreal. They seem like big game players, so it's just a bit frustrating that he can't feature.
It's as simple as this. If you ask me, when everyone's fit, I think he's our best attacker and probably the player with the most X factor, if you could say, if that's a thing, in terms of if someone can win you a game, can be clinical. Apart from Giroud, let's take Giroud because we know if Giroud gets a chance in front of goal, he's very clinical. But Pulisic is his decision making is very good in front of goal. Do you get what I mean? Whether it's finding the man that needs to be found or going past the player and finishing it off and things like that, he's the best one there. The only issue is the fact that he's not fit. You know, when I see him being compared to, I don't want to even bring them man into it, but like Pepe's or whoever, Pulisic is better than these guys. The only problem is
the Bergwijn Pepe comparison.
He just can't stay fit, and that's a big problem. And look, I said it. I was speaking to someone earlier on today. I was saying to him, if Pulisic stayed fit, it was an argument over Pepe and Pulisic. But I said if Pulisic had Pepe's fitness, he would have been levels above Pepe, innit? Yeah. Unfortunately, the guy can't stay fit, and that's the only issue. But right now, where he's fit, we do need to get something out of him, innit? It just reminds me a bit of Robben when Robben was at Chelsea and he was always injured. We just need Pulisic to somehow, some way get fit, and he can be on a world-class level, innit? Simple as he's that good. But unfortunately, we're just gonna have to wait and see if he can stay fit and manage him properly.
When you know, outside Pulisic as well, because it's very 50-50 whether he starts, because obviously we have Brighton on Tuesday. And that's a huge game. You know, every Premier League game is huge, so it's not even like you can even pick and choose which one you're going to prioritize. I'm looking at the Man City. Did you guys watch Dortmund versus Man City? I did a little bit of opposition analysis, scouting. Do you know what I'm saying? Spying on the enemy. I'm just looking at their starting 11 just for the bare basics to start with. Obviously, Stones and Diaz have been very strong this season as a pair. I think Diaz has really pushed and elevated Stones onto another level. Do you know what I mean? I feel like he's been that Vincent Kompany replacement that they've been searching for so long. Zinchenko left back, we know he's more of a midfielder, but Mendy, he's never really consistently in that team. And do you know what it is with Pep? I see a lot of similarities with the way that he's structured that team against Dortmund to the Barcelona team when he put Fabregas up front, I believe. And yes, this is basically that team without Messi. Do you know what I mean? Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, and Rodri in midfield. And then you've got Foden, who's, again, a very much a central attacking midfielder out on the left wing, similar to how Iniesta was used at Spain, for Spain national team. De Bruyne as the striker, the focal point. Not really, though. He's more of a Firmino upgrade, I guess, Fabregas false nine type player who's really just there to create more triangles and release the ball and create space in behind. And then Mahrez is your Messi, I guess, on the right wing. So our point about there really being no focal point is huge. And that's where movement in this game is going to be absolutely massive. We're going to have to track those movements because they're going to be very fluid. That's the most fluid front three you could probably ask for in world football. There's no stationary striker there. They're going to drift in to different positions. They can double up. They can go out wide. They're all comfortable in the middle, in tight spaces. Concentration-wise, it's going to be key. So when you look at Jorginho and Kante, do you feel like I guess what I'm asking is, do you guys feel like they've developed enough of a partnership and a chemistry and understanding between the pair to deal with this situation in the half spaces? Because for me, I've always maintained, I don't feel like, yes, they've had great games. Like they've had good, strong moments together, but I don't feel like as a partnership, communication wise, it's of the level that it should be. At times it can be disjointed. So
I agree, but I don't think that that's down to them not being able to communicate. I think it's just because it's like when Kovacic and Jorginho are playing, I feel like they're at the same level in the sense of pace, in terms of how fast they press as well. Kante, he's gone in like a split second. Do you get what I'm saying? He's gone, and then there's a gap, and Jorginho's probably catching up. Do you get what I'm saying? And if a team's very good, which City will be good, they can find that gap. They can just pop around that, and they'll be like, oh, the midfielders not playing well together. But at the same time, it's like if Kante doesn't get out soon enough or early enough, then it'll be like, oh, he doesn't get out. But then if he gets out and then Jorginho's maybe catching up or something, a situation like that happens, then we'll get split open. I just think it's down to maybe the forwards helping out as well. Like the Mount is most likely going to play. He's going to have to do a lot of the third man running, like in that midfield. He's going to have to help those man fill the gaps because, like you said, City have so many focal points that they can play any way. They can play for anyone. So we're going to need as many hands on deck in those situations.
Monster, what do you feel about it? And obviously, I guess this chat here is quite interesting. Obviously, Adoy as well, maybe not used as heavily as he was at the start of Tuchel's reign. How do you feel about that going into this game? Would you favour a Tuchel or a Reece James on top of that earlier point as well?
I think we're probably going to use Reece James because of defensively how good he is and he can handle Sterling. Do you know what I mean? He can really handle Sterling. So it might be better to use Reece James. But like Sam said, it might be better to use Mount, who's going to drop in that midfield because obviously unless one of our centre-backs drop into midfield to help out a bit, someone else is going to need to drop into that midfield because we're going to be outnumbered there, innit? And that's where Mount might be very important. So, yeah, I think, players like Mount, Reece James, they're going to be very important, not only because of obviously what they bring, but obviously defensively as well, trying to win the ball back and things like that. I think they're going to be very important for this game, So, yeah.
It's one of those ones. Mason Mount, someone was saying, why is he never tired? His endurance and is just different. Do you know what I'm saying? There's players like that. Willian, Aspilicueta, Aubameyang at Arsenal. There's just certain, before this season, there's certain players that just don't get injured. Do you know what I mean? There's certain players that just, they're freaks of nature fitness-wise. Yeah, Giroud, Ronaldo. Do you know what I mean? Like, you never see these brothers in the medical room. Do you know what I mean? They're just built different. Sometimes it's down to genetics, and that's just the way it goes. You know, not everybody can be so lucky. I think it's whether Sterling plays as well. I don't know because Pep is an overthinker at times in big games, and he can overdo it with the tinkering. So
I think Sterling will start. I think Sterling will start.
Didn't start in midweek.
I think Foden's been getting a good run of games, but the Pep, everything that I always expect from him, he always does the opposite. So I'm just expecting Sterling to start because it will be that type of game where I think they want to turn us around. Like Foden is good 1-on-1, but Sterling, you get the ball to him, he will cause, in terms of like 1-on-1 battles, he will cause us more issues than Foden will, and Foden will also be good to come off the bench as well. But yeah, man, they just got better options. A
lot of depth. Their midfield is just stacked. Let's be real. Do you know what I'm saying? Gundogan stacked. I mean, at one point this season, they used Gundogan as a false nine, and he was the brother scoring goals. I was just like, only a Pep system and a Pep coach team could stick Gundogan up front and actually get something out of him. Do you know what I mean?
Literally, it's just he's the reason that they've gone clear. Basically, that winter period that he had when he was just bagging goals won them the league.
Yeah. I remember us, like, we was like, oh, can we throw Eden Hazard up front for a false nine? These brothers have put up Gundogan, do you know how mad that is? Like, I don't think people deep just how ridiculous that is that they can put a brother like that up front and still get something out of him.
But even that, it's not even working out as much as they want it to be. Like, Man City they're not exactly scoring as many goals as they would want to. Yeah, like you saw against Leeds how they struggled and with 10 men, like.
But do you think that's complacency or?
No, Leeds. Like I think Guardiola always with Leeds, Guardiola always struggles against Bielsa anyway. Like I don't know, Bielsa just has his number. Remember, if they drew 1-1, it was like a basketball game where they were just going back and forth. I couldn't believe they didn't score more than just a 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
But obviously in the other game, in the second game, Leeds were coming at them and then they conceded that stupid red card. But obviously they played counter-attacking football and got them. But in terms of their attackers, I don't know. Like without Aguero, they don't look exactly as good. They're doing, you could say they're doing enough. So they're doing enough, but they're not really blowing teams out the water in it. Do you know what I mean?
I think they just look a lot more like durable. I think their defense has improved so much with Diaz. That they don't necessarily have to score as many as they used to because their defense has always been an issue. But now it's like, okay, cool. They can scrape the 1-2-0 wins and they'll be okay. So I think that once they get a striker next season, I think that's when City might be on a mad one.
It reminds me very much of our title win under Mourinho, where first half of the season we was blitzing teams, playing beautiful football, Fabregas, Costa link up, Hazard, and then second half of the season, Costa's form kind of dried up, and it was like, cool, we're just gonna one man show Hazard, and we're just gonna park the bus. Not that Man City are doing that; they're obviously playing brilliant football still, but they have become a bit more pragmatic in the second part of the season where, okay, cool, now we need to... And they didn't start well as well. So I think Guardiola's like, listen, I know there's weaknesses in this team. They're not, like you said, they're not the Centurions. You know what I mean? They're not impenetrable. They're not, Yaya Toure, Vincent Kompany, Aguero. You know what I mean? They're not that team. They are a team where, yes, they're head and shoulders above what has been a pretty piss-poor league in terms of competition, where Man United are second. And I give Man United a lot of sticks. I'm going to stop doing it on my streams, but... big up yourselves, you're in second, but even you guys know, I mean, you can't want a manager out, half of you, and be in second and there's no questions asked. So big up for them for just getting the results, but the competition for the title has been piss poor. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's one of them things where they are the best of the rest, but they're not the best City team we've ever seen. But, final 15 minutes before we wrap up, because I don't want to lap on some other brothers that are coming in at 5 p.m. Do you know what I mean? It's a very competitive Chelsea community out there. So man's gonna do you, man, a solid, innit? But listen, there's 500 of you in here. Smash the like button. It's been a brilliant stream. Let's look at our starting 11s, I guess. Obviously, I think we'll be in agreement of Mendy starting and go, unless somebody wants to throw Caballero in for old time's sake.
Or Kepa.
Nah. I would be, man. Yeah, get Mendy in there, man. Just keep it safe, man.
I mean, if I was Kepa, I guess I'll be pissed because I've been playing FA Cup all season. But I think now where it's crunch time, this is where teams normally bring in the big boys to win the cup in it. So yeah, Mendy's got to start, in my opinion. But I wouldn't be surprised if Kepa starts. But yeah, Mendy's got to start.
I don't really believe in that cup team thing, I can't lie. I believe in winning. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. But if the players are up to it, the only thing that I would say is that Kepa would be a bit more sure with his feet at the back. But everything else, obviously he's a keeper, so we don't necessarily need that. We need him to saving those KDB shots.
Yeah. Sam, you know how people get at Mendy for like his feet? He still hasn't actually conceded a goal.
I was about to say.
He hasn't, but he's made those
moments.
mistakes. He's made those mistakes that if they had got the shot on target, it would have just looked mad, innit? Especially even that game against Porto. The pass that he tried,
the left foot.
I was like, it's a bit mad. You know what I mean? I was just like, bro, like you didn't have to do that. I understand we want to play, and I think that's what he needs to learn in this game. This is City. We're playing against City. We're not playing against Porto. Don't overplay.
Yeah, but I will say Kepa has made his fair few clangers as well. Liverpool,
at
home. I think it was Sadio Mane or some shit. Yo, I don't know.
He's made uncountable clangers, man. Uncountable.
Do you know what I mean? I feel like Kepa just looks better when he's doing it. Like, it's a clanger, but at least you look good while you do it. It was nice. But listen,
and his clangers always lead to goals as well. That's the worst thing.
Yeah, I think. At the start of the season, I looked at a stat and he was errors leading to goals. He was top and he hadn't even played that many games. It's definitely not bulletproof back there. Like, it's not a Neuer thing in his prime, but it's getting us by so far. But yeah, that left foot pass against Porto was a little bit too much for my heart rate. Do you know what I mean? Jorginho, fair play to Jorginho. You really got him out of the mud there. I'm sure Monstar's been enjoying the Jorginho prop recently. Do you know what I mean? Gabba, Cotty, Pat Nevin, all these brothers waxing miracles over here. Do you know what I'm saying?
Let me not lie, I've been one of the most critical people of Jorginho, innit? My issue with him, it's not necessarily his passing and all of that. It's more of his defensive steel that I need from a midfielder, innit? Like, if you remember last season against Liverpool where we were coming back, I think it was 4-3, Andy Robertson had just blitzed through and Jorginho was right there with him. Yeah, you've got to take the tactical foul and take him down, innit? Because we could have come back in that game, but he literally just let him run past him, and then they went on to Firmino ended up finishing the chance, and they went on to win. Was it 5-3? Yeah, so many moments like that where Jorginho needs to learn.
But that's what I'm saying. I think that's why fans get onto him because of that. On the ball, he doesn't really make mistakes. He's very good under pressure when players are pressing him. But when you see him getting when players just run past him and it doesn't even look like they're doing it. They don't even look like they're mad fast. It's just like you're just seeing Jorginho. It's like, bro,
He's
come on.
He's just not.
You don't have to
even
be.
Just put positioning, though, innit? Positioning.
Sergio Busquets. This is why I like Guardiola. Guardiola teaches these man tactical fouls. If you look at Fernandinho, Sergio Busquets, in those situations, they're bringing the man down. They're taking the yellow. They're taking a tactical foul, innit? Things like that. Jorginho needs to learn. I reckon if he had gone to Man City when they wanted him, he would have probably been doing that. But it's very annoying when we get in these situations and they end up causing us goals, isn't it? But
Jorginho, as long as Jorginho weights his passes correctly, which he doesn't always do, but if he is to weight his passes correctly, Jorginho in that Man City team, with the movement that they have ahead of him, it would have been ridiculous. It would have been ridiculous at times. They still would have needed Fernandinho at times, maybe away from home, or like I said, don't tactical fouls. You can only do that once before you're getting sent off. You can't be caught in transition multiple times. So that is something. And Fernandinho back in the day had a bit of pace about him as well. So, but yeah, it's one of those things that you do want him to brush up on. And obviously that's where Billy Gilmour gets dragged into it because he is a bit more mobile and he's Scottish and we know they love a tackle and they're on the ground and it's getting feisty and whatnot. So yeah, but Mendy starts in goal. I'm guessing everybody's going to go with the same back three, which would be Rudiger, Azpilicueta, and Thiago Silva. Before we move on to the wing backs, this super chat, got to admit, J5 a better defender than when he joined. He starts pressing faster to make up for the pace and made some tactical fouls against Porto. Porto, I thought he was brilliant. I really did. I thought potentially man the match. If I had it my way, I would have given Pulisic man the match against Palace and I would have given Jorginho man the match against Porto. But it doesn't. Maybe it's one of them things where you just have to keep building up the points and then you get them. Do you know what I mean? But I thought he was brilliant against Porto. Yeah, I really did. He has improved in that regard this season, especially under Tuchel. I think he's been really good. Had that game against West Brom, which was like Sam said, if he's gonna have a stinker, it's gonna be stinky like a skunk.
It stinks, bro. Like you're actually looking at him like, fam, this isn't you, fam. Wake up, you need a Snickers or something.
Yeah, it's mad. But you know what I mean? On the majority of time, he's been good. Luke Dagoon says Tuchel said we're going hunting next season. Mad. Listen,
facts.
I love to hear that. I love to hear it. That was my main criticism of Frank before us is saying that no, we're not ready. Bro, be ready. Do you know what I mean? We can be ready. So hopefully, it's words now, but I do believe them from him and hopefully
the energy, that's the energy you need, man.
Yeah. But think about it though. Since Tuchel's arrival, you look at the form table. Chelsea's second behind City, right? I'm pretty sure we're second behind City. So he's in title at least challenging form, if you want to call it that, since he's arrived, innit? Obviously, we're nowhere near the title, but we're just looking at the form table, innit? So I think he knows this team. It just needs a couple of pieces to be able to go that extra mile. I mean, he's already gotten them to the semi-final anyway, and he could as well get to 2 finals and get in the top 4, which is a very, very successful season. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, no, but listen, I hope he is going hunting. Do you know what I mean? Bring the dogs. It's going to be... It all really depends on the transfer window, and not just our incomings, but other clubs' incomings. If Man City can pick up that ruthless striker, and I think reports were saying one English club have apparently dropped out of the race for Haaland because Raiola's asking for stripping us. Yeah,
I honestly don't think he's good. I don't think Haaland's going anywhere. I don't think the demands that he's made as a footballer is realistic for any club right now. You can't ask for 100 million off the top and then ask for another 650k salary. That's just not realistic. Next year it can be realistic because you'll pay less for him, but this year it's not happening.
Yeah, I think Rafa Hoinstein did say previously, he said, don't be surprised if he doesn't move. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's got this assumption in their head that, he's going to move because Dortmund need to get the money for him now and they're going to sell him for cheaper next season. Someone else said that Dortmund wouldn't mind keeping him because it strengthens their chances of making Champions League football next year, and then they'll sell him for cheaper, but they might make more money because they've qualified. And then on top of that, Raiola, I know he's shipping him around, but does it not make sense to let him go when you know there's a flat fee and then you can collect more in agent fees? So I don't know. It's a very strange situation.
They're pricing him out, man. They are. I think they are. They're pricing him out. They're just
on purpose, potentially
demanding way too much money. I don't think on purpose. I just think that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
They're just demanding way too much money. They've been doing this. I don't think it will make any difference next season either. I think about it. Even if you say 30 million in agents fees, plus obviously the 70 million buyout clause, that's still the same thing. And they're going to be demanding the same wages they're demanding this season as well. So
Yeah.
I don't think it makes any difference. They're going to keep doing that.
Yeah. And does that mean that Big Rom needs to return? Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, it makes
that's
sense.
the story.
It makes sense to go with Romelu Lukaku, but I wouldn't be surprised because I read somewhere that Chelsea are, and this is something I've spoken about, where Chelsea could just be looking for a midfielder instead to get their attackers firing. And I've always said we need to get like a deep lying playmaker in it. So if Chelsea do that, then we might not need this striker if we can find a good midfielder to get things ticking in it.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that it's very difficult to see, because yes, you could get a midfielder where he creates more clear-cut chances and puts it really on a plate. We just spoke about Guardiola and that team not even having a striker. We've got strikers, they just aren't firing. But if you want to maybe create a system that you're there to score tap-ins, bro. Make the right runs, anticipation into the box, make sure you're there, and we will create the opportunities. Yes, it maybe means that we have to play a bit more picture-perfect football, but I've always said I would never turn down Lukaku. I think, Lukaku, Haaland, Harry Kane, these are all world-class strikers. Not that Harry Kane's even realistic because we know what Levy's like with the Modric thing. But Lukaku, that means you can cross the ball now. Do you know what I mean? And put it on a man's head. And that is another way of getting a goal and set pieces and whatnot. So I have missed that Didier Drogba effect against those big clubs where you can swing it into the box and get headers. Reece James will be perfect for that. Yeah, man, he's a goal scorer. Everywhere he goes, bro, he scores. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that's the thing. That was his young G as well. He was Drogba's young G. He had the dreads as well. He proper wanted to be him. Like Mourinho shagged him, and I'll never forget. It was that penalty that he missed
against Bayern.
Super Cup, same as Abraham, bro. Yeah,
that proper changed his whole future at Chelsea.
Yeah,
and I think him coming back would be poetic, man.
He never kicked a ball again. And I remember when Abraham missed the same penalty against Bayern, same opposition in the Super Cup as well. I said to myself, is this going to be a Lukaku thing? But he bounced back, stepped up and whatnot. I mean, again, same with Lukaku, though. Some people feel like, why would he want to leave Conte, Inter? They're just about to win the league. So it's not even a guarantee that he moves as well. But man, back onto obviously the team. Big up everybody in the chat, 500 of you, smash the likes, and make sure after this, make sure you go and check the links in the description for the guys as well. It's been a great stream. Wing backs for me, Chilwell and
James. It has to be Chilwell and James. It just has to be.
Has to be, yeah.
It has to be because with what you said, with the amount of threat that they have going forward, the front six at City, you need James and Chilwell on in it. Like, I'd love Hudson-Odoi to play. I wouldn't even mind him being in the front three to a certain extent, but I can't have him wing back this year.
The physicality that what's his name brings, Reece James brings. I think you've got to, you have to play him. So I would go with Reece James as well.
And he ain't no joke going forward as well. That's the thing. So
no, he's not.
Okay, all right, I hear that, and we don't know who's going to play on that side, but it doesn't really matter. Whether it's Sterling or Foden, it's going to be a threat. I think Foden played left wing against Dortmund. He was obviously ridiculous. He was ripping that guy over there, nuts, putting it through his legs. It was massacre on the football pitch.
He was his fingers with Foden. He was moving mad, and I proper rated that tweet that he made. And then he just bottled it, and then his whole team just bottled it. Like, at least just be like, you know what?
But the thing is, the team didn't bottle it because the social media companies come out and said that every post they put out, they get approval from, whoever their client is.
Yeah, they came out with a statement.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like he approved it. I don't think they're lying.
Someone in his team must have approved it. And even if they did, like, bro, what's the worst that can happen? You said we're ready. Like, you didn't say, oh, you're gonna be crap or whatever. Like, if I mean, just war words, man.
You reckon it might have been Man City that are like, why'd you do that? Like,
100%.
It's such a shame.
Must have twisted his ear or something.
Everybody was so gassed. There was like, finally, footballer with like a bit of
personality.
Yeah, we're gonna see some smoke. We're gonna, do you know what I mean? Like, we're gonna see a good like similar to the Haaland. Remember when Haaland came out and said, "I saw Mbappe last night, and I thought, now I need to do my thing."
To wake up,
Do you know what I mean? Like, in every sport, you want you want some sort of, even if it's just a friendly rivalry, you want some sort of competitive
Edge.
public, confidence backing yourself in big moments. And it was lovely to see. And then they just take it down. I'm just like, rah, fam. We couldn't even.
They sacked they fired the social media company, bro. That's how bad it got. Like after that, obviously it might have not been Foden, but at the same time, it's like, bro, come on, man. Like you're probably one of the best youngsters in the world right now. Just own it, man. Own the gun talk. But I think the thing is with Foden as well, he don't even know if he's going to be starting that game. The way City move.
Imagine if he didn't. all that talking and then brothers just hitting the bench. It's not really. I mean, Mbappe's starting, so it's not really. Mad. So yeah, we've decided on wing backs. I don't think there's much debate for the midfield because Jorginho and Kante will just start that game. And really, it's just about will Gilmour be on the bench because. Brother, listen, you think it's a foregone conclusion, but it's really not. Like, he actually doesn't make bench so often, so we'll see if he's there. And then this is where it really gets interesting, is that front three. So we spoke about Pulisic earlier in terms of his fitness and playing him so many games in a row. Do you feel like, anybody here, would you guys start him or save him for Brighton?
I'd start him. I'd start him.
Well,
I'd start him. And then I'll just rest him at Brighton. I think these, like you said, playoff Pulisic, like these are the games that are made for him. Wembley, he's made for these occasions. And he had a great game against City, the last season, end of last season. So if he comes into that game, he's a confidence player as well. He's gonna remember that, and he's gonna be like, okay, cool. I know I can do what I can do against these lot. He went up against them like face on. The goal that he scored was mad. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think he has to start. He has to start.
And then
he's got to start.
Okay. Can't disagree.
Havertz false nine.
Havertz false nine, yeah? And Mason Mount. So you're going with the same front three that Tuchel kind of said in his presser that, these guys are delivering, you man need to work harder to get into the team. So you're not starting Werner. I'm surprised.
You know what it is? I think I wouldn't mind if Werner started. I won't be surprised if Werner started, yeah. But then I'm thinking if Werner does start, who's gonna miss out? All of those three players that I think should be in the front three. I think that they will be crucial for this game, and they've been showing like that they can play together. And I think that's one thing that we've missed recently with that cohesion in our forward line. Like we've not had a forward line that we can rely on all playing together, and these lot are just getting used to each other. You know what I mean? And I don't mind Werner coming off the bench. Don't mind Ziyech coming off the bench as well. Give us a different dynamic. But I think all of them playing together, what Mount does, not just going forward, but off of the ball as well. I think it's more than what Werner does. Like if that's the sacrifice we have to make for us to be in the game for a certain amount of period, or even because Mount still creates chances. You get what I'm saying? He still gets shots.
No, he does. I think he's created the most chances under Tuchel.
Yeah, so I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah, I think he's created like the most chances, scored the most goals, been fouled the most. He's been really good under Tuchel. It's one of those ones though where you think fixture congestion, rotation. We've already seen a couple brothers go down through injury. Does he make one change to that front three just to keep everybody fresh? Brighton's on Tuesday. Brighton do like to play about with the ball as well, so maybe their line won't be deep and Werner can play against them as well. It's one of those ones where it's just, I do want to see consistency though. I do agree. I do want to see some sort of cohesion, some sort of chemistry, consistency in the front three and not chopping and changing and experimenting so much. And I don't know if this is true, but I think I heard that he's not going to want to make so much experimentation and rotation in that front three towards the end of the season because he does want results now. He's seen everybody outside Abraham. He's kind of seen everybody now, and he's gone with those three. Monster, is that the same front three you go with, bro?
I would go with Pulisic, Werner, and Mount.
Okay, so Havertz comes
Mount,
out.
Yeah, Mount for obvious reason. Pulisic, obviously, he's just in form. I just want him to continue doing what he's doing. But Werner, because Werner, when it comes to those, when Man City overcommit numbers forward like they usually do, but you need someone to run in space behind. I think Pulisic and Werner are two of the perfect players for that. As Pulisic obviously showed us last season against Man City when he scored that goal. I think was it at the Etihad or was it at the Bridge? I think it was at the Etihad. In fact, it It was away.
It was at the bridge where he went past Mendy and then he put it in the far corner.
Oh, was it at the bridge?
Yeah, at the bridge. Yeah.
Okay, it was at the bridge. Yeah. Pulisic is really good on the counter attack, and obviously Werner's pace. I know he's not playing very well. I just feel like what he does bring would be very, very useful and very helpful for us.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I would go with those two. And I think obviously Mount, you gotta play Mount. Simple as that.
Don't you feel like playing Werner and Pulisic? We kind of sacrifice our physicality. Like, I feel like you need a focal point, and obviously Havertz isn't a striker, but when he plays, he isn't Giroud, but he's physical enough. He gets in the right position, he gets stuck in, and also, I don't think I've seen a game where Werner has had like a great game without a focal point to play off of. Do you get what I'm saying? If he's the main man down the middle, I just don't see how it can work, man. I don't see how it can work. The only
game, well, I would say, and this is mad because usually you're giving me confidence on Werner.
Yeah,
now I'm trying to send it to you, but the one game I'll say where is pushing me and saying to me, which is mad, because I have been saying to bench Werner for time, like before most people. I don't know when Monster was saying it, but for me, even under Lampard, I was saying you need to bench this guy because he's playing all the time and you're playing him left wing for no reason. But this game, playing him up front, and it reminds me of that Liverpool game at Anfield. He was really good that game. Like, he didn't get a goal or an assist, but he did score. And I think they ruled out offside or some dumb crap. His fingernail was offside or some shit. And he just kept exposing their high line time and time again. And I think to myself, if Jorginho can get his head up, even Mason Mount can get his head up, Thiago Silva can get his head up and hit the channels on that big Wembley pitch with Werner running in behind. I'm not saying he's going to be clinical and he's going to do a madness, but it will be a big threat if he can get him behind, and it plays to his strengths. And then it kind of says to Man City, right, are you going to keep applying pressure on us, or are you going to step back 10, 20 yards? It's up to you. Do you know what I mean? So I probably would start Werner over Kai, because I feel like if you're gonna go with focal point now in this game, I feel like it's either Giroud or it's not. Do you know what I mean? I feel like Giroud does have a good record in these games. He scored against Southampton and whatnot as well. But I feel to myself, I want to see Kai against Brighton as well. So because I think he can really bag that game. I think that game suits him to a T. So I'll probably go Werner up front, and if it's not working, then I take it. I'll drag him off.
Yeah, I feel you. No, it does make sense. Your reasoning does make sense. But I see someone put in the comments, we need to rest Mount. Mount's not resting. You know what I mean? It's just simple as that. This is the most important period of the season, and this is what he's playing for. You know what I mean? I'm sure he's good. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to rest.
He wants to play this game. I'm telling you that now. Do you know what I mean?
There's a lot of players that you'll have that caution with because of their injury record and how they are. But I think the way Mount plays as well, I think I was gonna say he's perfect, but he seems like that type of player that has
big game player.
He does the right things on the pitch, but I feel like off the pitch he takes care of himself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he makes sure that he's ready every single week.
Yeah, maybe you can look into it for Brighton and start a Ziyech or something in that kind of game, because I feel like that's going to be a game for good football as well. Brighton like to play good stuff. I don't see it being. I see there being opportunities for us to score. Do you know what I mean? It looks like a fixture that we should be able to do well in for the way that our team's made up. We're gonna wrap up soon. Final super chat here from Wendell. Werner, Havertz, and Mount is his front three. It's not. He's saying that front three can be shut down. Pulisic can't be shut down. He can only be fouled. Start the man. Big game. Play big time players in big time games. Yeah. So listen, I've got Pulisic starting as well. I think again, I'm pushing my luck with Pulisic, but start him in this game, and then I'll probably leave him out against Brighton in my team there, and then we'll just really just pray to the gods that he can keep this fitness up for one more game.
But so sometimes it's needed though. I feel like with certain players that do get injuries, sometimes it is needed for you to start a run of games. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've seen players when they come in and out of the squad, that's when they struggle, because it's just like it's stop-start. But if he's playing every week and he's getting a good amount of minutes every week, and he's starting the game, he doesn't have to come into a game and catch the pace, and I think he'll be fine, man. I think Tuchel wouldn't risk it. I don't think Tuchel would risk him if he was that fragile now.
Yeah, I agree. We're gonna wrap up, people. Over 500, 500 of you in here at one stage. Make sure you smash the likes and final thoughts, Monstar. Let them know where to find you, bro. Links are in the description for Monstar and Sam's channel.
Yeah, it's just MonstarCFC on literally everything. That's all. And I am doing a show next anyway. Just doing a Man City preview. But yeah, that's it.
Love that. Links in the description. He's been brilliant as per usual. You know we like to get him on regularly. So yeah, people, smash the likes, subscribe to the channel. And Sam, bro, let them know where they can find you. What's coming up?
Yeah, no, I've started doing footy videos again. The footy agenda's come back. That's going to be weekly on my channel. So search that up, Sam O. And obviously Football Daily. I was on a podcast. I was on a few shows this week. I was on the podcast and I was on Continental Club, and that's come out today. So if you check your Football Daily, if you're on Snapchat as well, on there every day on the Football Daily Snapchat. So yeah, man, give me a shout.
Love that, people. Make sure you go, links in description. Go subscribe, follow those things up there. And yeah, it's been a great stream. Obviously, big game tomorrow. You know the review's going to be back afterwards with Dami and Anita and my boy Saj as well, the Man City fan that always annoys you guys. So hopefully we actually win the game. I'm not trying to see no smoke from him. Couldn't get Big Steve. Big Steve will be on the Don Robbie channel. You know what I'm saying? So Big Steve's doing up big things. You know what I mean? It's going to be good to see him representing there from the Big Six. And you know I'm going to be on Big Six tonight as well at 10 p.m. And you know that's always smoke. Man's already looking forward to it. So I'll see you, man, in a bit. Thanks so much for joining us. In a bit, people. Peace.
Peace.